I want to demonstrate for you today how we do the EEG recording. So you can see I have my white and green electrodes on my forehead. The way the electrodes work is we're recording from this one that's in the back of my head. If you put your hand on the back of your head and you kind of feel there'll be like a bone that kind of sticks out. It's the sort of the very far back of your head, and there's sort of a little bit of a pointy edge on that bone there. That's really your target for the recording electrode. And I'm going towards the middle and just a little bit to the right, not super dead in the center, because if you remember from our brain anatomy, the brain has the two hemispheres, and so in the very middle, that's not going to be a good spot. We want to be just to the side so we can be over the right visual cortex. And I'm ready to do the recording. Okay, so we're looking at the output right now, and at the very top here we see on the red, that's the overall EEG. Now how do I know that that's EEG? Well, parts of it actually are not. And the EEG signal is really small. It's the smallest amplitude signal we record all semester long. And so it's not going to be any bigger than plus or minus 50 microvolts, not millivolts, microvolts. And so if we look here on our y-axis, okay, that's going plus or minus 100. These areas in here are EEG, but these large lines that we see here are not. I'm going to blink. Look what that does. Ah, that's an artifact. That is not that's not brainwave activity. That's the activity of the muscles involved in creating the blink. And so any muscle movement is going to be much larger. It can also accidentally pick up your heartbeat, much larger signal in the body, a muscle movement. If I clench my jaw, well, look at that. Definitely created this thickness, right, in the signal. Again, that's not EEG. EEG is small, low amplitude signals, and then what our program does is it separates it out into our different brain waves, our alpha waves, beta, theta, and delta. And we can see whenever I blink, it's going to distort those. So we're never going to want to take a recording from that. We're never going to want to use that as data, because that is not EEG. If I wanted to use this information as data, I would stick to the points in between the eye blinks and just sample those sections for my data, not these big up and downs here. And again, we can see them on the other recordings as well. I'm going to blink again and see how it distorts all of our readings, right? So let's go through them. We have alpha waves. That's when we're awake and relaxed. The brain should not be processing too much. Since the electrode's on the visual cortex, if I close my eyes, we might see more alpha activity than when my eyes are open. Beta reflects brain activity when we're awake and alert and processing information. So once again, visual information. If my eyes are open, we should see lots of beta activity, and we might see a decrease in it if I close my eyes. So there we go. And we can definitely see we saw an increase in alpha when I closed my eyes, right? Theta, we see in individuals when they are just falling asleep, so like stage 1 sleep. We might see it in practiced meditators, possibly. So it's sort of a interesting type of brainwave associated with certain states like deep meditation, a light sleep, daydreaming, like that. And then delta waves. We're not going to see a lot of delta waves really in a person who's awake, because delta waves are more common in deep sleep. So slow wave sleep is a way of thinking about or talking about deep sleep, stages 3 and 4. And that's when we're going to start seeing that our EEG consists of more delta wave activity. There's always going to be a little tiny bit, and that's what we're seeing here, but it's not going to be very much or very pronounced.